Have you ever been playing a song and you want to do your own thing, or you want to kind of venture out of the box of what's been there, but you don't quite know what to do? Maybe you've been on stage and you just completely draw a blank when you want to do something cool, and you just stick with the safe route and just play the song as is. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you what to do when that happens, or what to do to prepare yourself to know exactly what to play when you get stuck. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so let's jump right into this video. I actually tried doing this video a couple of weeks ago, and for some reason, my sound was weird when I tried to do it live. So I decided to come back and put the video up, just, pre-recording the video. So hopefully everything is good this time around. Anyway, a student of mine brought this thought to me about what to do when you're stuck, like when you don't know what to play. And I want to give you guys some helpful practical tips that you can leave this video with today and start applying these things, so you'll know exactly what to do when you find yourself in that area that you want to play something dope, but you don't quite know what it is. All of the above. I want to give you something to help you work through that. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into this. Now, I went back and grabbed an oldie but goodie. This one is called Soul Bass Backing Track. It's actually on my YouTube channel. It's for free. So I'll link this video at the end, and I'll also pin it in the comments so you guys can find this video, this backing track, so you can practice to it as well. Now, let me give context before we get into this. Now, this backing track is just being used to make the point, but what I'm teaching today is not exclusive to being used with a backing track. You can also use these principles live, and we will get into a little bit more of that. So first things first, always listen for context. That's the first thing. You want to always listen for context. So let's play this track and get the context of this track. In this particular track, I'm playing the bass line, and I'm giving you what the suggested bass line is. Okay, so let's go right into it. All right, so as you'll see on the screen when you pull up this video, this is in the key of C major, right? And so the progression of this track, we're not teaching this track, but I'm gonna give you the progression of it just so you can kind of keep up with me pretty quickly. So we're moving from the 1 to the 6 to the 2 to the 5. We'll go back to the 1 to the 6 again. And then we do a little quick walk down, 4, 3, 2, 5, 1. So very simple, 1, 6, 2, 5, 1 progression, very common. Mostly this lesson kind of leans more towards the gospel style of playing, because that's kind of where I mostly spend the most of my time, on that gospel Christian side of things. You can apply these principles that I'm going to tell you in other genres, but majority of what I'm talking about will definitely be helpful in gospel and Christian music. Okay, so again, we want to listen for context. So we got the progression. That's the main thing. As I talk about the 3 levels of learning all the time, you want to make sure you get the meat and potatoes of the song. Learn how. That's level 1, get the meat and potatoes. Level 2, how are they moving through the song? So this level 2, we're going to see that the bass player, or myself, in this particular groove, I'm following the kick pattern of the drum to set up my bass line. So it's like 2, 2, 2, 5, 5, 5, back to 1, 1, boom, boom. That's the kick. Boom, 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 And so that's the pattern. I'm using the kick drum to establish my groove. This is pretty typical in gospel, especially gospel, some Christian songs where you want to lock with that bass drum pattern. Now, it's not always a rule in every single song, but in a lot of songs, you're looking to kind of marry the bass and the kick drum is kind of married most of the time. And that sets up a great foundation for the groove. Now, it will leave room to create and do some other things throughout the song, but for the most part, that's the main thing that's establishing the groove, okay? And so we're listening for that type of context in terms of how is everything moving? Is there a lot happening in the song? So when we listen back to this again, how are we moving? Let's listen again. So the first few things I'm noticing, it's very laid back. And I'm also listening for the subdivisions. So what I'm hearing, the biggest subdivision that I'm hearing is 16th notes. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E. So if I'm going to choose things to play around that groove, I'm going to try not to get above that for the most part. Now, you can step outside of it, but it's a good safety net is to kind of stay with the context of the song. If the bass groove is laid back, the drummer is laid back, everything is laid back, then you don't want to necessarily be playing a Jocko solo when you go for a feel. There are places where we can do those things, but a rule of thumb is keep it simple. If the track is simple, try to keep it simple when you want to add something to the track, okay? So these are the first few things that we're listening for out of the gate. Now, the second thing we want to do is we want to use the roadmap that's already provided. Use the roadmap that's already there. So it goes back to the context. What is the bass player doing? Now, we can do this across the board in any track, any song that we're learning. You never want to reinvent the wheel, okay? And here's what I mean. The bass player here is playing, again, going to that 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. We learned how he's moving around that. So what are some other things we can pull from something that's already there? Right there. So how did he get to, or how did I get to the 6? So instead of going straight to the 6, like what am I doing? The little in-between stuff. I often tell my students, pay attention to the things that are happening in between when you're playing the groove. So I went, so I used the rhythm that was already the, so I'm actually leading into that 3, using it as a pivot point to get to my 6. So I'm going 2, 3 octave, or 2, 3 low octave, going to that 6. So again, I can use that same little pattern to get from one thing to the next. And these are little subtle things that you can use that move you along through the groove. So in context, and then I just popped an octave there. And I didn't, you can do that, but it's just a simple, I just dug in with my pointer finger. And notice I'm going a whole step when I go. So I'm going 3 to the 6. And I stay right there on that 6, 5, 6, just leading into my 2. So it's that same little pattern. And it's all about setting up where you're trying to go. So we're using what's already there, and I'm pulling those ideas. And that don't mean I have to do it every single time. But if I pull from the idea that's already there, that already gives me an idea how we can take away the monotony of the groove. So let's play it straight. So without the bass in there. Here we go, right here. 1, 2. I'm gonna play it straight. Right? We're in the pocket. But this is also the pocket. And notice something else that I'm using. There are little subtle things that happen throughout the music all the time. Notice when that cymbal crashed, I played an octave to catch that crash. All of these little subtle things, it make you lock with the groove. And these are the type of things that get people to call you because you pay attention. Like, I'm talking from the standpoint of a studio musician here, especially when you're playing with a track, but you can also do this live by paying attention to people's pattern. It's easier when you play with people a lot all the time, and that way you can kind of predict what they're going to do, but you still have to be listening. This entire lesson stems around ear training. That's pretty much the bulk of what I teach is ear training. You're working to pay attention, to listen to every single thing around you. Those are the things that's going to make you a really, really good musician, a good bass player. It's always listening to everything that's going on around you. So we'll go back to this. And I want you to hear where I'm choosing to add my octave to add to that track to make it feel right. So where it would have felt naked before, I'm adding octaves and stuff. So check this out right here. Right there. It's a crash right there. I had to be paying attention to that to know, okay, I can do something over there. So I'll show you in context. Here we go again. Right here. Again. So I can make moments a little bit more special just by adding simple things. I did an octave 5 then, and the second time I slid up to the 5. It's up to you the way you want to do it. So when you want to add something to the song, it's not always something that's just over the top. It can be little simple, subtle things that you can add that can make a huge difference in the song. All right, so for the third and final point, I want to tell you, trust your instincts. And I know this might sound crazy for some of you guys, but trust your instincts. Many of us, even before we started picking up an instrument, we were able to sing and hum out our favorite bass line. So let's take one for example. Old school, we go Temptation. Dun 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 dun. Like most of us can hum that out, right? We all kind of know, okay, Papa was a Rolling Stone. Most of us know that. So your instincts kind of tell you what to listen for. But what I've noticed in teaching for years, most people, when they start getting technical and using their hands and learning the theory and all this stuff, they throw away their instinct and they go with the mechanics and the theory of everything, which is good in a sense. That way you're thinking about what you're playing. But the bad part is you threw away your instinct. Your instinct tells you what to do. Your instinct tells you what to pay attention to. Your instinct tells you it's something, okay, I may not need to do that. Or, you know what I'm saying? There is an internal thing that's happening that's telling you what to do, that's telling you what to listen to, that's telling you what to, okay, this is the key. And all of these different things, once we establish these foundational things in the song, it kind of tells us what to play. So my instinct is telling me, okay, once I've established, like from a technical aspect, what key is this song in? Okay, it's in C major. I told you guys that at the beginning when we started this lesson. We established the key of the song. So once we establish the key of the song, now we need to figure out, okay, what all can I play in the key of C major? Okay, well, what's available to me to play in this track in the key of C major? All right, well, we got the C major scale, of course. Right, we got the C major scale. And if we wanted a couple of extra things to add, I would suggest use the C major pentatonic. Right, we got that. We can use the C major pentatonic. I just played it up to a. So we're not going to get into that. I got tons of lessons dealing with pentatonic scales. If you don't know what that is, please go study. So that's the C major scale, the C major pentatonic scale. Now I can also take the C major blues scale. These are just 3 scales I can use. Three different scales that I can use. Now, coming back to instinct, out of those 3 scales, what seems like it worked over these different things that I'm hearing? So like now, out of those 3 scales, let's play it in context. This is my last thing. Let's play it in context and see what we can use. All right, here we go. All right, I know somebody's going to say, that's a little bit more than the major and pentatonic. Actually, not really. So that's your major scale. Instead of just going, the objective is to always make it musical. Now, okay, again, so I said there was a major scale, major pentatonic scale. Don't go over the top being technical. And I want to make sure I'm making this very clear because I know some theory heads out there. Well, what's technical? Y'all thinking too much. Just play. Trust your instinct. So again, I'm taking pieces of each. So this is right here. Just the major scale. 1, 7. I can go all the way down to the 6. I don't want to do that. I want to do something more musical. So I go. That's one thing I can do. And that could be an exercise that you could create. Right? So 1, 7, 1, 5, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, octave 1. That's just one thing you could do. And all of this is taken from that major pentatonic. The only thing that doesn't show up in that major pentatonic is that 7. All of that's major pentatonic. Right? So you have to think outside of just the traditional, well, I know the pentatonic scale. No. And here's the other thing. Mix and match this stuff. Nobody says, okay, you can only play this because this is the pentatonic scale and you can't go outside. And you're not being graded on this stuff. Use your instinct to tell you what feels right, what sounds right. Oftentimes when I have students that play stuff, they hear the fact that it wasn't right. Now, everybody has to work on their ear. Not everybody just automatically gets it off the cuff, but a lot of people are able to hear, oh man, something was off about that. Now it's your job in your practice time. Go back and figure what was off. I'll encourage you to do this. Most of us all have phones. Record your practice times. And when you practice, just play it. Just have fun. Enjoy what you're doing. Get through the song. Get through the backing track. If you're going to play this backing track is like 16 minutes long. Record yourself playing a good 3 minutes of it. Stretch out on it. Now, when you finish having fun, go back and look at your recording and listen and be very not overly judgmental. Give yourself credit for what you did right. But like, oh, okay, when I went to that 6, that didn't work. Now ask yourself a question. Why didn't it work? Well, it seemed like I kind of stepped outside of the key. Did you? See if it actually worked. Ask yourself the questions that get you to the answer that solves the problem. Don't ask yourself questions that keep you in a rut that won't allow you to solve the problem that you're trying to solve. So anyway, these are a few things that you can do that will get you unstuck so you can know what to do when you get in those songs. These are all practical things. If you start to apply these things right now, I guarantee your playing will begin to change. You'll have more creativity. You'll have more ideas. These are not only for major songs, but you can also use them for songs that are in minor keys. Take the same concept, ask the same questions, and see what you can do to improve your playing. So I hope these things have been helpful for you. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, go ahead and like and share this video for somebody that it would be helpful for, and save it. Be sure to turn on my notifications so you know each time I'm dropping videos like this. I'm still out here in these streets helping y'all play this bass. And if you want to get better in gospel music with bass soloing and all that kind of stuff, I have tons of courses. I'm not gonna say soloing per se, but I will give you the tools that will help you to come up with these ideas like I was playing here. I'll give you the tools on how to build this. I talk about a lot of this stuff in terms of I don't talk about it, but I just show it to you in Riffs and Licks, Volume 1 and Volume 2, how to build these kind of licks. It's not necessarily, that course is not necessarily teaching you guys to play like me. I'm showing you the concepts of what I'm doing. The idea, you take these concepts of what I'm doing and you build your own things. I'm doing stuff like what I just played in this video, all this stuff, I'm showing these types of ideas. And I think in the first one it's like 20 something licks. And then the second, Riffs and Licks Volume 2 is like 25, where I show you how to do all of these different things. These different licks, I'm breaking them down. But the concept behind it, it's not for you to try to sound like Jermaine. It's for you to take the ideas, flip them, make your own ideas. So if I give you 25, you should easily have 100. If I give you 20 licks, you should easily have 80. That's the concept. That's the idea. So I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. It's 2025. Let's get on it. Let's get this done. Let's get better on this bass. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Hey, I'm out. Peace.